Welcome back to Santa Monica. It's time for North American games. We have some North Americans and some non-North Americans playing in the matches to come. Some nice backflips there. I tried to do that once and failed miserably. I didn't really. It's all a lie. Anyway, we've got Renegades versus Complexity coming up today. We were supposed to have SK and Renegades as well. However, SK cannot field a full team. You may have seen that Taco has left the team. Rumours about who may have been filling in, but apparently that's not happening either. So they're a team currently in turmoil. We won't see them today, unfortunately. It's a nice day outside though, so maybe they could get on a boat and go out on Newport Beach and just chill out and think about what might be in the future. But for now, we will have indeed Renegades versus Complexity. The maps are going to be cash. They're going to be cobble. Who's going to win? What's going on? Launders.
Who's going to win? What's going on? I think Renegades. Look very strong. I think Complexity is starting to falter a little bit. There was higher hopes for them at the beginning in the first week or two, but they actually lost a couple of close matches. I think it was versus NRG, one map they maybe should have won. There was a couple of rounds, small mistakes, where they could have taken it over the line, and I fear that might be their the same thing as that might happen today. I don't know. Renegades are a little bit stronger. I think they still are trying to fill the void that is Nafly, because last season they almost made land. They were like one map off, and they were very good, but at the major they failed, and I think that was the last straw for them. Jacob's been playing well for them, but Nafly is such a special player. You know, apart from just the straight ADR impact, he just makes such unique plays and is so versatile, can lurk and be aggressive and all that stuff, and it's just a very weird pair of shoes to fill.
What say you, DDK?
I think it's difficult to look at Complexity and see anything except some of the inconsistency. At the moment, it's a thing where they have to sort of prove, like against some teams, you have to earn their respect. I think at this point we're still waiting for Complexity to prove to us that they have something consistent to work with. I think it'll be very interesting to see where it can go with the new leadership. I am just in a position, much like you often. You're age-old cop-out, James, just sitting on the fence right now. That's where I'm at. I'm just chilling on that fence. It's really nice and comfortable. I have to go one way or the other. That's where I'm at.
You've clearly never sat on a fence, Dan.
I just choose very comfortable fences. I fell off a fence and injured myself very badly before.
Why were you on it?
I think I was running away from something or someone.
A 5-0?
In the two-tone burgundy trousers. Absolutely.
Let's move on from this.
Dan is so hip-hop.
Sometimes, James, you just don't look back. Sometimes you just shouldn't look back. Just keep going forwards, keep running, and that's the best choice you can make at that moment.
Yeah, running is often a,
You know a lot about it, James. Running away from
why do I know that, Dan?
I don't know.
Yeah, why?
You tell me
say, Dan?
all these amazing stories of your youth.
Don't know what you're talking about. I've never told you a story ever. So we can have a look at the teams that are in this league. Quick reminder for those of you who are new to the league or don't remember who actually qualified. 3 teams qualified in North America this season. Complexity, Rogue, and E-United. E-United, formerly known as Rise Nation, worth mentioning. All 3 teams made it back in. So welcome back to Complexity, who are in a position where they need to prove that are not going to be the punching bag of this season, as the qualified teams often are. And here we are into the game. So we'll be starting on cash. Renegades on the CT side. The bomb's already outside main, so we can see the intentions from Complexity. Number of people moving up on the boost perhaps, or just charging through the middle area, but will they check for Nifty? Can be a common position, and again he can bait his teammates. Got to be careful for those one-tap punch. Very careful indeed, but he can't. Yeah, he was the 180 to take him down. Ustillo trying to hold things down on the highway position as well. Flashbangs are here, but there are no kills yet for the CT side. There he goes, Azza leaving JKS and Jacob, the Norwegian imports. 3 players all huddled at the back of quad. So let's see what they can do, this Renegades team. Will they look for this boost? It seems that JKS most certainly will. Doesn't see anything. Got to be careful on quad as well for the T's, because there is a where Ye is standing, basically they'll see his shadow, so keep an eye on the floor. If they move to the left, you'll see that. The numbers game, they overwhelm. Great timing from Complexity, great use of the personnel alive.
I like that, the triple peek, the flash was good. Whether or not it was effective in terms of blinding them, it at least got them to turn, and they coordinated it so that, I mean, if they got pushed on, I feel like the USBs have an advantage to at least get 1 kill, if not all of them. So it was a nice pistol round. It's a tough spot to be in. Nifty definitely probably should have hit a shot, but shooting people in the back of the head, we've all been there. It's not easy. It feels random sometimes. And Ustillo tried to clean it up top highway, but he was getting pinched. So now they have decided to buy what they can. Hit armor and all that.
Almost. Yeah, this is a full force buy. So we shall see what the buy round looks like for Renegades, unless they can win this round. I mean, maybe they can do that. JKS is in a strong position. I don't know if he was seen crossing, because if he wasn't, then he can stay in the far corner of Sunroom and hold the line all the way through to the event. It's always nice on a buy round, especially when you have a silenced M4. So for now, he is holding an off angle, and his teammate, I don't know if Jacob is looking through to this position. He is. So Jacob is the bait in this situation. I do wonder, though, if JKS will reveal his hand, if he'll play his cards. This is very interesting indeed. It's a standoff, but who's going to make a move first? Jacob really looking for it. What action happens elsewhere? They're lining up for him. And there's one, almost two. Almost feel like it should have been two. Peter in the red, but not quite dead.
It was close, but a good reaction. Now they take the bomb and immediately dip out a B. It's one thing to play retake on A, but with pistols, it's another story. If they knew it was going to be this site, they definitely have moved into stack it, but now you still out. Wow, from the truck cross, it's an insane 1 dig.
FNS trying to hold things out in the open, but that's not going to quite work out. Leaves Ye completely exposed, but he manages to get his gun out in time. Only in time for 1 kill, however. Now Peter's coming in from the mid position. Can they identify where he is? They touch the bomb. They're both looking elsewhere. He doesn't believe they're holding it down. They line up for him, but he can't get either kill. And that's a successful force buy for Renegades.
My goodness. My goodness. That was a good rotate into the site. They had kind of everything they needed, really. But the immediate push as they were planting, I think, was a good call from the Renegades, because then you know that one person's stationary, you hear where the bomb gets planted, and they're locked into that spot. So as long as you can kill their friend, you have a good chance. Even Peter in the 1v2 had a small window of opportunity to shoot one person running up into the site, but didn't peek wide enough, unfortunately. Just a little bit unlucky in that scenario. They've actually decided to save instead of counter-forcing, which you sometimes see when teams lose versus a buy-up, because they know now it's like winning the pistol. The other team is going to have to save 2 for a full buy.
Pistols for complexity. Taking pot shots, but they're obviously ill-equipped, so they're at the mercy of their opponent. 2 left, still in control of the bomb, but we look to the next round to see what action can happen. And there it is. No one lost for Renegades, building money in that round. And now come the AKs for complexity, but what kind of utility will they have behind them? Android and the A-Star, both with around $4,000, and I think Android dropped to UMP to Peter, who gave him an AK or something like that, so there's a bit more utility, but yeah, it does kind of suck, so we'll see what they choose to do. Only 3 smoke grenades on the T side and 2 Molotovs.
Well, they know now that there's heavy presence at mid, that they've used a lot of grenades here. Actually 3 on top of the molly, the smoke as well. They've still got a lot left in reserve. JKS goes for the boost. And again, this is the round that they can kind of spare because they kept 5 alive just now. The default doesn't look completely perfect. It seems like Complexity are going to move into something aggressive. There might be a fight here for JKS to take in a moment.
Oh, he's heard it. He's heard it, and oh, he gets 2 of them. Marvelous. But how about that for revenge? Ye with a great response. Absolutely unprepared for that. Oh, Renegades. 3 on 3 now at the minute mark. And the T's start to move towards the B bomb site. Azza is in main, so the rotation can come in for the other two players. Taken with a very important frag. Trying to delay, trying to buy time behind this box. Separates the players, but can't get the kill. Azza looking to hold across from a tree position. But there are grenades there. That's a great HE grenade. They eat it up. Nothing but carbs in that diet. Two players now. Spot the shoulder peak. But where is the second CT? It's Yustilo flanking from T-spawn. Bomb planted at the back. Molotov in the right spot, actually, and that leaves Def in a very awkward position with 10 HP. He's still looking default. Android has to be very careful. Oh, the timing's unreal. There is the first kill and the second one. Trading for his teammate. And there is the round for Renegades.
He realized just a little bit too late that the other guy had flanked B main. Good play from Yustilo, good nades. They played it safe. Azza was totally aware that they might push into CT to try to speed the round up a little bit. Might have got interesting. A big rotate to A could have been in store for them. This was such a nice push, but as you mentioned, James, what a response. I hear a Willy Wonka skit playing in the background.
Yeah, there's lots of music in the studio for some unknown reason. 3-1. Now, Complexity might have an opportunity to break their opponents. If they can be so successful. Nifty not shying away from aggression here. Some teams may prefer to further secure their economy first. But Nifty waits for no man. Do wonder at this point if the barrel of his gun might have exposed him. Android being very careful. That is the slightest peak I've ever seen. He showed like 3 pixels or something. But what can they do about the situation? Complexity. There's a minute on the clock.
Yeah, it's really annoying. I mean, I think pushing B main is one of the strongest things you can do. It's better than A main, leaving someone in sunroom by themselves. I feel like with a rifle, you feel apt to take care of even more than one person if they try to retake it. So Nifty's actually fallen back here, but they don't necessarily know that, so that continues to burn time off the clock. 35 seconds remain. They've got to pick a site, and Nifty still has his op in B.
Opening kill from Nifty. He's got a teammate in tow. Can be, well, there's 2 flashes for his teammates. Will they even be required? Still holding the angle, but he's on fire now, still delivering the kill. Dying for his country. And that leaves Def alone in a 1 versus 4. Taking one away, but 6 seconds. Does he hang around for this? Trying to do as much damage as possible. No plant for Complexity though, and Renegades just keep on winning rounds.
That has been a big problem for them. No plants. Following those rounds, Renegades have been shutting them out early or straight up winning all their gun duels. They've got a little bit of bank to work with and another round to make even more money as Complexity are going to half buy. See if Renegades continue to abuse B main control. They've been doing that on their ecos, on their rifle rounds as well. I think they're punishing the fact that Complexity play their default at B really passively.
No sound, apart from the drip in checkers. There it is.
The Chinese water torture for the viewers.
Well, I've never been to China.
I don't think they actually do it in China.
We used to do Chinese burns in school.
Is that like an Indian sunburn where you rub people's arms?
No, rubbing the arms, twisting the arms.
Twisting, yeah.
I'm a twister, not a rubber. 4 pistols remain for Complexity, who desperately need to get this bomb down. Android and Def in the 2 versus 3. 1 on quad. Def has picked up an AK-47, but he can't quite find the angle in time. He's still playing the weird spots, and that'll be enough for the extra second to get the kill. This time Renegades survived with 3 players, and even though Renegades have had some early success here, they've lost a number of players in each round, so that is something for Complexity. They're keeping the economy honest, and they can focus on that as they try to have more success in these rounds to come.
Really curious about what the initial setup will be on this round. Almost everybody's gone one of each nade, basically. meaning they have a plan for their HEs. And Peter with a great spawn doesn't actually beat the CT out, but the smoke will do its job anyway and force them to have to clear out checker moving forward. But I think this is much smarter for Complexity, who clearly seem to want to take B fast, but A main control has been traded. That's pretty intense. Renegades calling them out completely. I think that Complexity needs to be a little bit less predictable about this. When they've gone for straight up B main control early on, this is like the first time they've done it, and they're also going to hit B.
.5 seconds remaining. Complexity not much presence elsewhere. They have got a player moving through mid, however, into B for the B split, clearing the checker's position. Still waiting for something to happen in the middle area. Maybe waiting for these counter grenades, Molotovs and such. He's still waiting for the pop flash. Seems to have a good read that it's going to be the B bomb site. However, there's still 2 people for Renegades on A, so they're not entirely convinced. But here it is, the execute, and there is the flashbang, and it's a shooting gallery for the CT side, but only getting half the kills at the moment. The reload just about comes in for JKS, but he can't get the kill. Bomb planted for checkers now, 2 players on the site. Renegades coming for the retake with Azza and Nifty. Nifty waiting for somebody to serve themselves up, and Ye slightly out of position. However, he's not tagged by that shot, and there's not much else Renegades can do. It seems like Renegades had a good idea it was going to be B, but weren't totally persuaded, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do a good job with their rotates because they had a Nifty in A main, watching to the back of A main. But because they didn't see outside of A main or Squeaky, they were still, I guess, worried about either a Squeaky pop or A main smokes to come over. And that meant that they couldn't even use that information unless it was A. So they really needed to either leave Nifty in A main and assume it was B, or have his teammate at least half rotate out or something like that. But I guess without mid control, they felt uncomfortable about the prospect of a delayed A split. No matter, they buy up again.
Is he going to go for a peek in mid? No. Very deep smoke grenade indeed. Hard to exploit. Sometimes if you throw your smoke too short and it's in mid, the T's will pop flash through it, come out left and right at the same time, and cause you all kinds of problems. Still taken down towards the short position, so that's early control of mid for Complexity. Nifty moving through A main, a nice response, but again, well, hard for Azza to rotate because of the mid position, but if there's no lurker, you do wonder if it's worth the gamble. 2 per site otherwise, so surely these teams are likely doomed. These Renegades players. FNS moving into the Z connector position. In the meantime, Jacob trying to fight, but again, just the 1 kill for him. And now FNS is cutting off that rotation. And Azra's left alone.
That was nice. I like how they took mid there. They got that kill. It was a nice frag from Ye. And then after that, smoke top highway off to completely deny any information from a quad opper or the other A-site player, which meant that really holds rotation. So I think that was a much cleaner way to take B, and forced Renegades into an awful spot. And even though they had A main control there, it was a little bit more difficult for them to know for sure that it was going to be B.
Round number 3 in the bag for Complexity. Still early on here for this game of Cash. Again, just for those of you who are joining us or unaware, there were due to be 4 Renegades games today. They were due to play SK later on. However, SK, unable to field a full roster due to the departure of Taco, have had to forfeit their 2 games. So it will be Cash and then Cobblestone between these 2 teams.
Well, they've managed to managed to pull out another buy. It's really light. It's not nearly as good as their last one, but it's probably better than saving since they have their op. It's being played pretty standard right now. Renegades have done a good job of pushing for information when they need to. But here they've taken all passive positions, and Complexity, I would play this like an Antico if I was Complexity, just because you know that Renegades, if they buy, it's a force. Really interesting. It seems like they're going to sell a pretty hard fake, but a lot of information will be gathered if these players stay in checker. They're not sitting on site.
Yeah, they don't have the usual mid presence. They're not forcing their way into the checkers area, so based on the previous evidence, to see what Renegades do, well, they were not persuaded at all by that fake. And now the bomb has been exposed in the front of A. Def surely to go down there. Indeed, he does. I wonder, I mean, again, we talk about like Golden and Fnatic and setting up the same rounds and then having a variation of it later on. So after splitting B multiple times through the mid area, after splitting B multiple times through the mid area, they just offer a fake with some grenades from outside B with the two CTs in checkers, and it's just not convinced at all, unfortunately, for Complexity there.
They didn't really give them too much of a reason to rotate because they didn't clear out checker. And if they clear out checker, then it might have been a little bit scarier for the CTs, but they had direct line of sight on anybody coming into B, and they had pistols, so they had every reason to peek. Also, they didn't have any flash to pop them out of Squeaky, so they decided to just run out. And that left their forklift player wide open to shoot. So I think there might have been some holes in that strategy right out the gate.
Holy strats. Not good. Not good. So with the check of A main there. And this is really nice. You spot that A main is completely free for grabs. And you can sit in it. And that's lovely. I mean, obviously, if Complexity wanted to do anything towards A, they would really need to have control of A main. So that's something that Renegades don't have to worry about. They could even potentially rotate. If they wanted to be kind of greedy, they could try to rotate the quad player down a bit, but it's a bit too early for that. Got to wait for Complexity to make their move and looking to take middle. Yeah, he'll be denied by Nifty, though. Nifty, a very exciting AWPer to watch, that's for certain. Okay, so it looks like they are going to go towards A, and that's a fresh resmoke with 45 seconds to go. So that smoke will go away around like 28 seconds or so. This is not a good look for Complexity. This is going to be a struggle.
It will be tough. They've got 3 Daddy A now. Doors wide open. The molly comes down as well, but Def finds a frag.
What more can they do? Ustillo is in a potential position to find 2 of them. There's the first one. FNS was in the red already, but there are very quick trades here. 14 seconds for this bomb to go down, and Peter cannot find the angle. Proving difficult to get onto sites once again for Complexity, and that's the money down the toilets.
It's always tough when you lose your opening frag, and they really wanted EA to get that pick at mid. And when they couldn't do that, they just, decided to go back to their standard A, but they made control the leftover grenades that didn't bait out. That made it really tough.
It's quite cool to see Jaken going towards B. I do remember the old days of him and Fox having a sort of combination there. Not sure if that was Kingpin or a very early version of D2 or what exactly it was, but I do remember it suiting him fairly well. So it's cool to see him back to his old tricks. Does he go for it? He's spotted that he has a bit of an opening here. Bomb is presented to him. That is lovely. He's got a smoke grenade as well, which he can put in front of the bomb if he wants to. You can't really push that, but he will get damage in. He's done some damage. He's got some money.
It's like trading Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh! Nice.
Cash.
Nice.
There was a thread on Android somebody made, I think it was yesterday, early today or yesterday, questioning if he was in ELO hell perhaps. Could he be unleashed on a stronger team?
He's a really good player. I went to a LAN with him in Toronto once, and before he was like a pro player, but he was super talented. His name used to be like, I think it was Rabbit or something, and he would win prizes. Rabbit. Yeah, and he would win like prizes on ESEA like every month. He had like a stack of mouse pads that he won from winning pugs over and over again.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and yeah, he dominated in that LAN. I remember even versus like some pretty good invite players when we played the finals.
No, that's like how people like Robs, I think, made a living for a while, just coming top of FPL just every month.
Yeah.
That's your salary.
It's big Estonian dollars.
Yeah.
Or Canadian.
I went to Estonia. It was very cold.
Was it nice looking?
Well, covered in whites. Tallinn and Tartu. There was a souvenir shop in Tallinn which had war memorabilia, including matchboxes of Hitler on it. Wow. Jacob spots the bomb outside the boost position at the minute mark. 5 versus 4. Ooh, that's a quite reasonable grenade. As Renegades decide to hold on to mid this time. Complexity again. In some of the rounds where they've had success, they've gone for the mid split to B, taking the vents and checkers. But this time, if that was their intention, they'll be denied. However, with the bomb towards A, perhaps it wasn't their intention. Still with a lurker towards B, 40 seconds on the clock. Really playing a slow game here. Android trying to quietly walk away from B, but he will be denied. And that's a lot of information for Renegades.
Yeah, nothing doing for the Cole guys. And will make his way forwards, but the trade comes in. There's too many players covering just simply too much. And there's some damage, can't get it. Another round for Renegades. Is Estonia the country which has, or is it Lithuania, which has like a really, like 95% of people have blue eyes or something? Like something like extraordinarily like large amount.
Don't know anything about that statistic.
It's one of the two.
There are some. If it was one of them, I'd say Lithuania, but I don't know anything about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Complexity on the eco now. Many deagles for the T side, but can they really get anywhere with them? Again, just lots of slow rounds from the T side. We're not getting much mileage out of them. The battery is flat in the Tesla.
Not much going here for Complexity so far, just taking some battles, but Silo, oh, that is not what you want. I don't know if the flash missed or what exactly happened there, but I think on paper, the pop flash play there looks really good.
I think because Android is against that wall.
Right.
So I think it blocks off a lot of the A main entrance.
I see, I see. Well.
Bosh.
Bish bash bosh.
Gotta respect the patience of Renegades here. Not overextending. Complexity really trying to get everything out of these rounds, and you've got to respect that. There's not much going on, but they are forcing Renegades to use all of their utility, all of their smoke grenades, trying to use their Molotov to ruin the timing of the Ts. You see one being pulled out now towards the B bomb site, but they may be able to swarm. There's a reasonable chance they could plant the bomb unless an AK comes out and drills these players. Android now last man standing. You see the Molotovs are still in hand. And they've managed to take 2 players down. But will they have an impact on these last 2 rounds? Perhaps not. See the money on the CT side, so those kills are inconsequential.
Smokes are 17 seconds right now, right?
It's like 15 and then the fading, I think. Is that right?
Around that, but I don't know exactly.
Okay. I was wondering for a future discussion.
I thought it was 18 seconds.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but I don't know if it is or no. So I don't know.
3 different answers. Thinking emoji.
Well, 2 different answers.
Yeah, I think it's 15 and then it's the fading. That's like the extra couple if you count it.
Okay, well, we can come back to that. We've lost Android. He has been taken offline. Yeah, making his presence in mid again. He's been trying to open up mid various rounds. That's a great burst onto Nifty. Jacob quite weak as well. Opportunity strikes for Complexity. And They could try to move up highway, but it's very dangerous if you're not splitting from main at the same time. This is kind of where the default really helps you out, because you could have someone towards A or B storage. But right now it's just 4 players around mid. You need to split the defense. Got JChem watching for information here. Very low health, but so is Def. Walking through the smoke there. You'll be punished for that. And it's a walk to B that is the plan.
Oh!
Snippety snap. JKS is eating them up.
They protected out of the B bomb site. Maybe a miscommunication. Maybe they thought he was still in the vent, but FNS is on the site now. Some spray towards the checkers area. So seems Renegades are content playing post plant and just going for the W. Not being concerned with the extra money for the T side. FNS trying to make his way forward, but he won't be able to do it. Round number 11 for Renegades.
That's very dominant so far. Very, very dominant. Good B main push.
Great plays by JKS.
Yeah, that was an amazing second flip.
Yeah, I didn't know he had that in him. That is crazy. It's mad because the scope obscured most of the player as well, so we really had like half a second to see him and then just take him out.
I hate people who jump on that sign.
Does that mean they shoot you because you push B all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really safe way, obviously, to hold B.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite frustrating dying to the player who's on that sign. To be honest, I only get frustrated if they're doing that. It's like 45 seconds left in the round or something. They've just been there the entire time, you know. But you only see that in very low level pugs.
If it's in a pug, oh my god, I'd be furious.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a good spot to be in a match.
Either way, though, it will definitely give a decisive advantage to Complexity, and the onus is on Renegades to make a play. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, one man got up there at least.
Interesting approach with the Molotov.
Yeah, you must have imagined that it should have missed, I suppose.
Well, Def's teammate has fallen beside him. And the clear out of mid is not going to work on this occasion. And again, it's often been the approach for mid into a B split, and Renegades have decided to fight it this time. Azza still manages to get the kill on the roof, and he changes position. Peter misses the first shot, manages to get the follow-up, but he will get traded by Ustillo, unable to escape. 12-3, a dominating half from Renegades.
I don't think they knew there would be 3 mid there. They probably wouldn't have taken it. So I guess Renegades did a good job of kind of cutting noise, not making too much presence once they had gotten in position. I think the idea is you go late mid, then, you know, typically somebody's rotated out. Usually there's not too pushed up, which there was. And that was one of many good things that Renegades did that half.
Now it's down to the pistol. Now it's down to the pistol. We've got a slow start from Renegades. They are slow starters. Just chilling. They are very spread out right now across the width of Cache. And just Complexity realize they don't really need to move either. So this is going to work very well for them. Peter with the first pick off with the P2000. Repping that P2K.
Is that a frag cam? Interesting name for a skin. Frag cam. 2 Renegades players lost. Every round is slow in this match.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big fan of on the pistol rounds, just as a tease, spreading out like this and getting picked. It doesn't make sense because you can't sort of guarantee the bomb plant, and you have to take fights at ranges which you are disadvantaged on, and so you can't use your numbers. It's very disconcerting. You still will find his way onto the bomb site, but he's in a 1v3.
Yeah, I think there's an argument to be made about expecting some kind of CT push on the T side, but when you start to take your fights individually, like a Z versus T main fight should go to the Z guy who has a USP, you know. Now Peter had a really nice shot, And sometimes you think about that time, you get the lucky gush, you know? But a Glock's not supposed to win at that range, so it's kind of like, is that going to serve a purpose? Like if you know that they're 2-on-2 and they have a Z player with a P2K, then you can send people over boost, and all you have to do is send one guy into Z with a Glock to make noise, and then that Z guy can't peek wide. There it serves a purpose. But if you're just spread out, like, hey, let me take this fight long range versus a pistol, USPY.
I guess, you know, each to their own as well, but I'm also of the philosophy that you should construct a round that gets you the bomb plant, because it's like the CTs can't do that. They can't have a way where they can still keep the pressure on if they lose the pistol round, whereas the Ts can create a very, very likely scenario where you get the bomb plant at the minimum. So I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, it can be the difference between 2 and 3 rounds of saving, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really big difference. You can stop the CTs from getting an AWP potentially. There's all kinds of benefits. That's for sure.
Renegades are waiting for Complexity to give them something, and maybe they've given them a sneaky way into mid, but is this a bait? We see Ye has cover. I wonder if they would have heard a player. Ooh. Taking one bullet too many, but again, his teammate has not revealed his position just yet. The pop flash is there, and Peter peeking pretty deep. Presume he was spotted. 33 seconds left, and Complexity have abandoned the A bomb site. They've got 2 people focused on mid and a slow approach towards B. So slowly but surely the push is coming in from Renegades, and they've got 1 player close to the site, but they need to get their rest. They're still in the choke point. They need to move forwards. I think they were just really, it seemed like 2 or 3 people were trying to duel the person upper B. But really, if they swarmed onto the site and focused there, it would have forced him out more into the open. But no.
It's true. Yeah, you should be like trying to, especially on the ecos, like power number is the only thing you have going for you.
I think you have to gamble. Like 2 of them went all the way through the checker's position, but that's such a long time when you're trying to make a quick burst onto the site.
Yeah, run up headshot.
Well, it's just Glocks now, so they should be running into Peter and dying. That is my prophecy.
Wow, prophecy.
My prophecy.
Oh, ding dong.
No, my prophecy sucks.
Oh my God, Glock. Get Glocks.
Glocks.
That's ruthless. It must have been 3 dinks.
They're going to win the round.
What to say about that?
I mean, they've got a great position to win the round. Yeah, it's not going to be that easy of a retake, even with these nades.
Yeah, if one of these guys gets to fork, that would be one of these Ts. It would be very interesting indeed. Nifty is somewhat exposed. There's a player wide trying to play an off angle, but FNS with the MP9. That fast fire rate will clutch the round for Complexity, but that was an expensive one, and another plant for Renegades, which means bonus money.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. 5 Glocks shouldn't get 3 kills and a favourable after plant.
Shouldn't even have to say it, Dan.
I mean, I liked I forget who it was who was playing around forklifts. I liked the off angle that he took there. I think the only reason why that doesn't work out as well, obviously, is the running. If he was against a rifler, then that is stronger. But because he's against an MP9,
better gun.
It's not like the running gun is so strong. It makes your angle worse, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow, the quick mid take from Renegades is being traded out here by both teams. A 3v3, this is a great spot for Renegades, and this is where, you know, your mid-round calls will really shine. You've got lots of time to play the 3v3 advantage, and there's all manner of ways to do it. And they have all of those accessible to them. And not only that, they have 2 smokes and 2 molotovs. So they really can do anything from this position. Cool, I like that. We get a highway smoke. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's a huge denial of vision. Just really scares the CTs. But yeah, in response to that, they're going to be pushing up. Wow, Azur's going to come through the smoke. This is going to work. Jeez.
That's really interesting. There's like a specific timing where that works.
Yeah.
Because you have to expect with that highway smoke that someone would push through it. And I like this response from Complexity. They were pushing B at the same time. But Azur's may well have done this. He's done this.
Yeah, I mean, he could have realistically got killed from truck on the cross as well, or Peter just looking at the smoke like he was earlier.
Yep.
But yeah, they took a gamble on it for sure.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense too from many respects, because if you think about how quick the action was at the beginning of the round, you're killing players that can't be. It's very unlikely that. Well, depending on what they know about complexity, I think it's less likely that the player who's playing alone is going to be on B, because you have the one guy on A, you get 2 going mids. I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm trying to imagine if Azza had a read that there would be a 1-2 split at that time, basically. That's what I'm trying to wonder, because
I can't assume that he knew that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that you can know that at that point, because they waited quite some time.
Oh, they got 2 kills at mid though, yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, usually if you get 2 kills at mid, you killed one of the flex A players.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah. Complexity
managed to buy around what they had. I think the 2 players at the end there had just shy of $6,000 each, so got a pretty reasonable buyout of this. Def moving into the boost position. It will be his teammate going up. Manages not to make a sound as he exits as well, so little clue there for Renegades. Right behind the box, the Molotov though for the vent position. Normally you would see a smoke at the front of the site before that Molotov. And everyone has a smoke here for Renegades, so let's see what their plan is. 2 players creeping ever so slightly forwards. There's a pop flash for Android, but it won't save him. The old existence RPK setup there.
Was he blind?
Who?
JKS?
I don't think he was, no. I mean, the flash was for him from his teammate, so shouldn't be.
Oh, I thought there was a flash from site.
No, it was FNS. Okay. The play. Normally you would have somebody hiding behind the wall, and then this wall right here, and then you'd have the pop flash in, and they would...
Yeah, I'm saying FNS flashed into B main, right? Why wasn't JKS blind?
Depends on where the flash went. But anyway, the push is coming into the site now, and FNS, he's got the information, but he doesn't have more than 1 frag, and it might be safe territory again for Complexity. Pieces forward though. Maybe there's a window for him while the bomb makes its way to the site, looking for the rotation from headshot, but he falls off. And that's going to be that. 4 versus 2, no thank you. Round number 14 for Renegades. Haven't seen much from Complexity so far in this game of Cash.
Yeah, they've been having a hard time. A very hard time. If there's one change you would like to see being made, Launders, which change would you make for Complexity?
In terms of players?
Well, no. It can be anything. It can be players.
Oh, you're talking about in this map.
In-game strategy approach to CT cash, T cash, whatever it might be.
Honestly, I would have more to say about probably their T side. I think they actually have a couple of really cool strats. I just think that they don't have enough ways to have a strong default, and I think that's what's missing from them. So it seems like their complicated stuff is actually quite good, but then when they need to default, like I feel like they didn't pay enough attention to B in the early round, or the early half. So Renegades kept pushing it. And every time they push it, they get so much info for free. It was really hard to deal with. But if they just went and spent a couple of rounds conditioning Renegades into knowing that they can't just push B main all the time, then they have a lot more freedom later in the round. So
yeah,
the problem with set strats is if the team counter strats you by accident right at the beginning of the round, then you're screwed because you gave up some map control or something like that. But if you default and you throw in enough defaults, then a team can't feel free to do map pushes whenever they want. They always feel on edge.
Well, Complexity are managing to do something. The players are now left with some rifles, FNS and Peter. 1 per site though, and again they're going towards FNS on the B bomb site. He's got to get 2. He's got to get 2. Grenades going in towards CT. They will spread, they will push it from either side. Jacob jumping, looking left, looking right, and still managing to get the kill somehow. That looked absolutely absurd.
That was fraudulent.
Some of these, I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
But it works. Peter is left with a gamble, which does not pay off. Match point Renegades.
So I'm going to show you the FACEIT theme, Launders. I'm very sad you haven't.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah,
alleged.
It's made in like 2012.
Allegedly, FACEIT have a theme.
Yeah,
that no
on
one's
the
heard.
inception of FACEIT Media was the FACEIT
I feel like
theme.
the whole point of a theme is so that you get everyone to hear it all the time.
It was
and then they associate that noise
like 2 years.
with FACEIT.
Yeah.
Like the,
before James's time, even.
Wow.
Before my time.
Ooh.
Okay.
Right. UMP, hello.
Life in the old dog yet.
Ooh, I saw that happening.
Jacob has the element of surprise, so he will walk. 1 versus 3. He has the bomb, so they don't know exactly where he is.
Okay.
And there is death.
Quite a crazy round from Complexity. A lot of good kills. Maybe they just need to try to turn up some aggression in the early rounds so they don't have to worry about their side holds. I feel bad for them. Some of the rounds they got entry'd, it was kind of like, whoa, what are you supposed to do about that? But maybe if maybe they avoid some of that problems if they just get in Renegade's face a little bit more here on CT. That's a nice first frag.
Yes. Yes, it is. Now there are only 4 of them left, and they are on meager pistols. And the problem for Renegades is that they also don't have any map control to speak of at the moment. And this boost is going to be pretty juicy, should they... Actually, the only thing that boost is really weak to is to push up highway, but only if there's like a split or something going on. So it's pretty solid position. And Complexity, they are staying alive. But for how long? But for how long? They spotted the swell of players around middle, and they're taking it very cautiously, very responsibly. Because responsibility is very important.
Oh, God. There it is. Long, painful rounds has been retired, been put to a close. And Renegades are on a nice buy once again. Complexity past the halfway mark on the comeback. But how long can they survive? Can they do it? Can they take it over the line? We need to see more than we've seen so far from them, quite obviously.
It's the final quadrant, James.
It is, you could argue that it is the final quadrant, Launders.
It's the final quadrant.
Is that the FACEIT theme?
Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this.
Is that the FACEIT theme?
The audience don't deserve this.
But you sing all the time.
I don't sing nonsense like that.
Wow.
I sing valuable words and lyrics.
I thought this was equal opportunities, James.
You're the man.
What's that? I'm the man. What do you mean, I'm the man?
I don't know what I mean.
I'm a man.
1 minute 10 on the clock, and the door has been open. A door of opportunity, the door of entry frags from Renegades. FNS almost with an angle on default, but perhaps something was in the way. A nice burst onto Forklift, trying to continue now with the 10 bullets he has left in his magazine. Doing more towards Forklift. It's supposed to be harder than that to get frags from there. As going down. And it's now Android alone, pop flashing himself through the smoke. Taking a gamble, but it won't work out. 16-8 for Renegades on cash.
That is an impressive victory. Renegades looking pretty sturdy throughout the duration of this game. I don't think there's all too much to complain about for Renegades. Launders, anything that you think is less than desirable and should be more desirable?
I'd feel pretty good if I was the Renegades. It's funny, like even that squeaky pop on the last round was something that Complexity did that I was personally critical of. They did the exact same thing, they just hit their shots. And sometimes that is the name of the game too. I felt like in the second half, some of those entries that they got on Complexity were just somewhat unfortunate, if I'm honest.
Yeah, Renegades as well, for me, definitely this seems to be a map that they go to time and time again. Although they have had, strategically, for me, in the past, like some of the philosophy around their defaults and on the T side has been suspect for me a bit. But either way, it was good enough here today to take down the new look Complexity, fielding Finesse of ex-CLG leadership, now Complexity leadership. Really curious what he can do with his team. I do have faith in him. But for now, it's Renegades. It's all about Renegades.
It is indeed. And they will be moving on to Cobblestone, which is going to be the last map of this evening.
Nice. I think we have a surprise for you, Launders.
For me?
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm scared.
Okay, it's the FACEIT theme.
Oh. It's really just creeping in there.
It's actually really long, so...
Okay.
So I don't know if we can just sit here for the entire thing, but...
Well, this is your idea. This is your doing that. So
I can actually barely...
Why don't we just sit here and listen to the whole thing, shall we?
Nice.
Sure. Yeah. I can barely hear it, honestly.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Do you want my headphones? I can hear it loud and clear.
It sounds kind of like the Stranger Things.
Where can people?
I can't hear it at all.
On FACEIT.com, where can they find us?
Oh, there we go.
Production men. It's on YouTube. So it should be on FACEIT.com.
That's all right.
Under FACEIT theme, probably.
Okay.
He's one of the founders of the company.
Did he produce it?
Fabio Flores. He produced it. He's singing. I don't know if you can hear the Italian
accent over there.
Can you turn it up for a little more? Like 80%.
He's a very good musician. Very good at the guitar.
All right.
Great singing voice. Right.
So when would you normally use an intro like this?
Well, we used to just
or
just
a theme
before the Monster Cat days. It was just this. It was just this. For 30 minutes before we go into the broadcast. It's in the Quake days mostly.
Kind of cool.
Trip down memory lane. Yeah. Actually, there were some memes that came out of this at least in the Quake community in the first couple of years, because it kind of sounds like he's saying, "I got a FACEIT." So people would just spam FACEIT instead of FACEIT.
What does it mean to have a FACEIT? Yeah.
Well, that's just a meme. What do memes mean? What is a meme on this? What is a meme?
Can we go to break now?
We can go to break.
A meme is making fun of a relatable circumstance.
We'll the next game. We'll take a look at what I got up to right before I came to California. Of course, this happens. Let's find out some more. See you after the